Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. Now at noon, the Biden administration just announced plans to forgive up to $20,000 in individuals' student loans. The latest update from Washington. Plus, after the violent arrest in Crawford County, we're learning new details about the officers and the victim. We'll take a look in 4 minutes. And with school back in session, school lunch is the only place some kids can depend on a hot meal. How the Arkansas Food Bank is trying to help later. But first, meteorologist Scott Covert joins us. Scott, what do we need to know for our Wednesday, middle of the week?
You know, it's Wednesday at noon. I can hear the tornado sirens going off outside. It's just the weekly test. There's no severe weather expected for today, but some folks likely are going to see some scattered showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. Now, here at the noon hour, temperatures around the state look like this. Many of us are in the 80s. Elsewhere, 82 in Little Rock, 83 currently in Russellville. We're going to find lower temperatures actually in southern Arkansas. That's not very common in this part of the state. We are expecting those temperatures to be cooler as a result of a little bit of rain and cloud cover. In fact, we're starting to see some of those showers start to pop up. You got to zoom in pretty closely in places like Whitehall and Pine Bluff, Rise and Star City and Grady. But notice how scattered they are. Very spotty. No guarantee you'll see the rain. In fact, your chance pretty low, about 30% at highest this afternoon, and then we'll keep a 20% chance of a few on and off showers going into the evening hours. Your high temperature today, 85 degrees. I'll have a look at what's to come the rest of this week in just a few moments.
Now to a historic announcement on student loans expected today. President Biden will likely announce a plan to forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt for millions of Americans. Student loan payments will also be deferred until January. Nancy Cordes joins us from the White House.
Months of uncertainty are over. President Biden is expected to announce today that the government will forgive up to $10,000 in federal student loan debt for Americans who make less than about $125,000 a year. Americans like Dara Zucker.
I'd like to see the $10,000 go away.
Dara borrowed $40,000 to get her degree. She's been making payments since she graduated in 2016, but with all that interest, she's barely made a dent.
I think it is predatory of colleges and schools to go after kids who may not have ever had any understanding of how finances work.
The president has been feeling the political pinch from both sides of his own party, with some progressives pushing to wipe out student debt altogether.
Right now, student loan debt is holding back people who are trying to buy homes. It's holding back people who are trying to start small businesses. It's even holding back people who want to start families.
But some Democrats in battleground states and many Republicans warn of unintended consequences.
I worry that we say to colleges, charge whatever you want, we're going to forgive the loan.
Canceling student debt would also be grossly unfair to the Americans who worked hard for years to pay off their loans.
Today's moves won't apply to students who are about to take out loans.
That's the challenge here, is that you potentially might spend $360 billion of taxpayer money. At the end of the day, you haven't altered the trajectory of college costs for millions of American families that are going to be going to college in the future.
That is a tougher problem to solve. For now, progressives argue eliminating some debt will help to level the playing field. And President Biden is also expected to announce today he is extending the pause on federal student loan payments for another few months. That pause has been in place since the start of the pandemic. Nancy Cordes, CBS News, the White House.
And Biden tweeted that you'd be eligible for $20,000 in loan forgiveness instead of the $10,000 if you received the Pell Grant at school. The president will have more details this afternoon, and we'll let you know more right here on THV 11 at 5 and 6. Coverage now of the violent arrest in Crawford County. This was all caught on camera. We do have another warning for you that the video showing the brutal beating of a man is hard to watch. Now, 2 more people are coming forward with new allegations of excessive force from one of the deputies involved. I took a look at these accusations. The officer and deputies that were involved in the recording have since been identified as Mulberry Officer Thel Riddle, Deputy Levi White, and Deputy Zach King. The man getting arrested, Randall Worcester's attorneys, now coming forward with 2 new clients, both alleging excessive force from Deputy Levi White in other arrests.
You know, we've been contacted now by a scary amount of people, pictures, and it's the same, you know, Deputy Levi White.
One client, Tammy Nelson, claims she has a history with Crawford County deputies handling her civil matters appropriately. But when Officer White came to her house last week, she says he arrested her with extreme force and never read out her rights.
And that is the first time that I have ever been violated and assaulted, and my constitutional rights taken from me.
She took a video of the arrest where you can briefly see White's face before the phone falls to the ground.
Oh, you're breaking my wrist!
Then give me your other arm. Give me your other arm.
Another client, Teddy Wallace, claims White brutally beat him during an arrest in July on a call for domestic battery. Wallace's attorney releasing these photos claiming to be from after the incident. Meanwhile, Deputy White's incident report says that while resisting arrest, Wallace was tased and hit multiple times by officers.
That was uncalled for. What they done to me that night was I was being tased and beaten with a baton while being beat in the head.
But the only person right now actually charged with a crime is Randall Worcester. He's accused of threatening a gas station employee, among other charges. Documents also show that last year, Worcester pled guilty to assaulting and obstructing a police officer. I also spoke with the Crawford County officers' legal team, who said while they did not have time for an interview, new allegations don't concern them, adding they even expected, quote, people to come out of the woodwork with allegations. And right now there are multiple investigations underway into that Crawford County incident from Sunday. Most recently, we reported the U.S. Justice Department launched several investigations, including through its Civil Rights Division. We also reported the FBI is looking into the case. Arkansas State Police are investigating the behavior of the officers and will pass its report on to the prosecuting attorney. And the Crawford County Sheriff says his department is also doing its own internal investigation. This afternoon, there are growing calls for the dash cam video from the Mulberry police officer's car to be released. We first told you yesterday morning that the decision is up to the Crawford County Prosecutor's Office, which says they're not making it public right now. Officials previously said that no body camera video of Sunday's beating exists. But on Tuesday, an attorney representing Randall Worcester said one of the officers may have been wearing a body cam. Their attorney says everything should be released in order to tell the full story.
We believe that even if you take what the deputy said, it doesn't substantiate the amount of force being applied to Randall when he is on the ground, not resisting the officers. No amount of force, that amount of force for what he's facing at that moment isn't justified or substantiated.
The attorney representing the 2 Crawford County deputies is also calling for the Mulberry police dash cam video to be released, saying it'll support the deputies' claims that their actions were justified. Meanwhile, that viral video of the arrest is sparking a lot of questions, including what should you do if you happen to witness a violent arrest? THV 11's Frederick Price tells us.
This shocking video seen around the country of 3 officers kneeling, hitting, and kicking Randall Worcester leaves attorney Greg Bryant shocked.
You're kidding me. That's what I thought. You're kidding me.
Looking at the video, Bryant says criminal charges could be a possibility.
These are 3 cops who are going to be facing a federal prosecution, most likely.
The 3 officers are removed from their duties and face state and federal investigations. That video likely to aid investigators in this case. Brian says the best thing to do if you witness something that seems wrong is to pull out your phone.
The most effective thing right now is to do the recording and hope that it stops before death.
Arkansas lawmakers passed a bill in 2015 stating an officer can't stop a person from using a recording device in a place open to the general public.
There's no law that says you can't record what someone exposes themselves to or is doing in a public setting.
And he adds while recording is not against the law, intervening in any arrest, whether it be violent or not, is illegal.
There is no right of a citizen to interfere with the performance of a law enforcement officer in his lawful duties or his unlawful duties.
That was Frederick Price reporting. And something else to note, he says that an officer cannot tell you to stop recording if you are in a public area. If you're a distance away from being involved at all in their lawful duties, you are well within your rights. In a THV 11 update, we're learning more this morning about a man who died while in custody of the Garland County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office says they got a call about a man acting erratically on East Grand Avenue, which is east of Hot Springs. Upon arrival, deputies say the man admitted to taking numerous narcotics. When officers tried to take him into custody, he allegedly tried to run off, so they used a taser to stop him. The man reportedly lost consciousness when he arrived at the jail and later died at the hospital. State police are now taking over that investigation. The sheriff is waiting until they contact relatives before releasing the man's name. A third arrest has now been made after last Friday's gunshot exchange in downtown Little Rock in broad daylight. Darian Williams taken into custody yesterday, accused of firing weapons at cars and buildings in the River Market. He's facing multiple charges, including terroristic acts. He joins two others arrested the day of the shooting. No one was injured, but the Little Rock Chamber of Commerce was damaged from gunshots. Still ahead on the news at noon, troubling concerns for the food bank. The need is up, but the supply is down. After the break, the perfect storm hitting those trying to meet others' needs right now.
Looking live from RView 11 off towards the east. Most of us are dry here at the noon hour. However, showers are starting to pop up. Who's got a chance of seeing those today, as well as a preview of what is to come later this week? More details coming up in your full forecast.